Yeah, this is my LinkedIn profile. You can guys go through it and you can see about my achievements, whatever I have did, and how many trainings I delivered. Everything is just updating in this particular the LinkedIn profile. So and also we had did the couple of demo sessions in the last week regarding Jenkins CI/CD pipelines and DevOps roadmap, everything. If anyone would like to know about more, I mean to say, for example, if you wanted to know more about the DevOps roadmap, everything, this is our YouTube channel where we have uploaded all these particular the recording sessions on this YouTube channel. You can guys go ahead and see about what we have uploaded I would say last week. There are three videos we have uploaded here. The first one is nothing but AWS DevOps roadmap. I'm requesting everyone to who really would like to know about the how to become a DevOps engineer. You have to go to this particular the video. And there is a one more video which we have done the Jenkins CI/CD pipeline, and we have seen about the AWS load balancer. This is a complete what we had in the last week. So the regular session is going to be tomorrow. So we thought of to conduct the one more session. If anyone would like to interested, they can join for the demo session. That is the reason only we are trying to conduct this demo session. So let me explain that. What is our agenda in today's session? How we are trying to learning about this DevOps. So if you want to really become a DevOps, then what is the steps we have to take and everything we are trying to discussing about in today's session. So I know we are coming from different backgrounds. You may come from a non-IT background, you may come from IT background, or you are a fresher, or you have a gap experience. So for every question, I have an answer because I have been into training from last 4 years. I know that how to handle it. So the whatever we are trying to talk in this particular demo session, to not to attract you guys or it is not to pull you into the regular classes to get a payment. We are trying to give you some facts. So if you really like the facts, you can join for the regular classes. Otherwise, we that's not a problem for us because we don't want to blame someone or we don't want to blame the students in the name of 100% job assurance or 100% job guarantee programs. No, we don't do that. So you guys will come to know at the end of the session. So let's get into our session and we'll try to understanding about the today's session. So DevOps roadmap video already I have did. So I just wanted to give the overall high overview of what is DevOps. And actually, when the DevOps engineers would like to deploy the application, the Kubernetes cluster, what are the different steps they have to take care about it, and how they can do it? That is what we'll discussing about in today's session. That means we'll see about how we can able to create the CI/CD pipelines with help of the Docker and Kubernetes. So we'll see how whenever the requirement as a DevOps engineer, how we can design the CI/CD pipeline, how we can deploy into the Kubernetes cluster, what steps we have to take about it. So after that, I'll tell you about the course curriculum. I might say the code syllabus. Also, I'll take about the placement cells, the placements. Also, I'll talk about the what about the mock interviews. So that everything will take, I'll explain about the mock interviews and internships, which we're going to provide for the 3 months. That everything I'm just going to talk about the after some time it is. Okay. So it may take some time. I'm requesting guys, if you want to know and you're really interested to learn, so you be patient. This will take the 40 to 50 minutes will take. So let's the first try to talk about the what is DevOps. So I know that everybody aware about the DevOps. Like what exactly mean by the DevOps? So anyone can able to shoot the answer in the chat box. Okay, that's fine. Let's try to talk about the what is DevOps it is. Say DevOps means it's not about the operations team and development team. So DevOps basically it is called as a methodology which we are going to follow to bring the changes in the software industry. Say what kind of revelation or what kind of change it is brought this DevOps when it came into the market. The first, let's try to understanding about the what is development team, what is operations team, and why actually DevOps came into the market, and how we are trying to resolve the problems, whatever it is going to face by the like this development team or software development team, everything we're discussing about right now. So let's first talk about the DevOps definition. See, DevOps basically what we can say it is nothing but it is a culture, or it is the philosophy, or it is a practices, or it is a tools. That is what basically we have to understanding about what is a DevOps basically it is. So it is a combination of the culture or a philosophies or a set of practices and a tools which we are going to follow the organization to able to deliver the application and services high velocity. That is what we have to focusing on. What is meant by high velocity? How we are trying to improve the product, the feedback, how we are trying to implement the faster build. That's we are trying to discussing about right now. The first try to understanding about definition very clearly. So when you talk to someone, they will clearly tell you that it is nothing but a combination of development team plus operation team. But the exact definition it is all about. DevOps is a methodology. So we can use any of the tool. It doesn't matter about it. So DevOps is a combination of a culture, philosophies, and the set of practices and set of tools which we are going to use. So it is going to increase the organization able to deliver the application services at higher velocity. So it is going to enable the organization to better serve the customers and compete more effectively in the market. So how we are trying to compete more effectively in the market? Let's try to understanding right now. So let for example, you just take in the software industry, there are two teams basically we'll be having. One is something, but we have a dev team, and one is we have something called as a operations team. Let's say, for example, I have given a requirement. So you have to implement the banking application. Let's, for example, you have to implement the Citibank application. Citibank is our customer. We have given the requirements to let's say, for example, ClahanTechnologies. So now ClahanTechnologies has the requirement from this particular. ClahanTechnologies got requirements from this particular uh, Citibank, and they would like to develop the application. So when any company would like to develop the application, they go to follow the SDLC model. That is already we know that. It is software development life cycle. In that, we have different phases we'll be having, right? One is nothing but requirements gathering. We'll be having a designing. We'll be having the development team, and we'll be having a testing. And after that, we'll go for the deployment. And after that, we go for the maintenance. So these are the different different stages we'll be having. The first one is the requirements gathering. Second one is nothing but design, development, testing, deployment, and maintenance. So these are the different phases of the SDLs. So here, the first we had to understanding about when we got the requirements from the client from the Citibank, the first we had to gather all the requirements. When you gather all the requirements, we had to prepare something, it is called as a SRS documentations. SRS stands for the software requirement specification document, which we had to prepare that. And when you come to the design team, we will be having something, it is called architects. Basically, they will design VI, UX engineers are going to be have. So they are going to design this particular something, it is called as a prototype of the application. So when you go with this a prototype of the application, they are going to design the prototype of the application. When you just go to here, it is exactly we required to software development team what they have to build it is. Now here they'll prepare something, it is called as a design documentation. Design documentation. That means they want to understanding about what is the flow of the application. Like when the customer is going to log into my website, what are the different steps he has to take, and how his login page looks like, how his sign up page looks like, how his home page looks like, what are the different types of tabs we can able to keep over there, where the customer is going to click on the payment page, what options we had to give it to the customer. Like each and every page we had designed when you just go with this design phase. So when you go development phase, you know that software development team will be having, depends on that which technology they are going to choose. They may use HTML, they may use CSS, they may use JavaScript, they may use Python, Go language, or they can use Spring Boot, Hibernate. See, any of the programming languages they can use and they can implement this application. So that is basically what we can say. It's nothing but a development phase. So when you go the development phase, basically the team has tried to understand the requirements, what we can call stories, which we are going to give it to the software development team. They have to read the story, they have to read the design, they have to understanding about what exactly the customer is required. For that, we have to write the source code from the scratch. That is basically the software development will do that. So when you go testing team, a testing team is basically they will do something. It is called as a how we have to test the application. Like, see, whenever you want to test the application, only one thing is first two objectives of testing. One is nothing but whether we are meeting the customer requirements or not. Second thing is application working properly. So because of that, they will provide something. It is called as a the functional testing and non-functional testings. The functional testing, comma, non-functional testings. So this is basically they will going to perform this particular functional testing and non-functional testing. So when you go with the deployment, see once we have done with the testing, let's go with the non-functional testing. So where we are going to perform the load testing, regression testing, performance testing, and alpha test, beta test, and crash functionality testing, a crash platform testing. Like you can perform different testings to check whether application really it is going to work or not. Because when you deploy the application in the production environment, we should understanding about the what are the complex the problems which we are going to face that we have to resolve before the application deploying into the production environment. So whenever I say about the production environment, so when you deploy the application in the production environment, that means how your customer is going to access your application. That is what we can call as the production environment. So when you go to something, it is called deployment. Deployment is nothing but actually once we have done all the phases, our objective is we have to give access to the customers. I mean, say end users. So that means end users can able to access my application. They can use my services so that we can able to generate the revenue. So you take any kind of application in the market, you take Flipkart, you take e-commerce, you take any kind of banking applications. See, through the websites, through the applications, we have to generate the revenue. That is what our objective it is. So for that, what we can do, we have to perform deployment. See, deployment is actually how you are trying to deploy the application in the production servers. Before you deploy the application in the production servers, we have a dev environment and we have a test environment, and we have a UAT environment, or we have the production environment. So this is all the environments we will be having in any organization. So basically DevOps and the responsibilities will start from here. Dev, test, UAT environment, everything. So that we'll talk about the one by one. Now when you go with the production environment, that means end users will access my customer, my application, what I have deployed. Now this is a flow. Before you are trying to deploy the application, this is exactly it is going to be happening. What is the maintenance here? Maintenance is nothing but, see, for example, you deploy the application in the production servers. My customers are trying to accessing. Let's say, for example, Saturday night at midnight, 1 o'clock, I'm trying to do the payment. Mine it is ICICI Bank, but it's showing about the your receivers bank could not accept the payments. So I thought of it as a problem with the opposite person, bank account. So I am trying with a different account, different number. It is saying about again it is got failed. So I tried through to different UPI payments, but it is got failed. I just want to understanding about why it is got failing. So, but I just went back to my SS mobile bank mobile app. So it is clearly telling that banking taking the server downtime between the 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. So I have some emergency that whom I need to contact that. Because let's, for example, there is some people are waiting for my payment. They're in hospital. In a situation, they are in, let's, for example, I want to transfer it. So whom I need to contact it is. So maintenance is nothing but when the customer are going to face any problems and how we are trying to take that feedback, the everything they have to understanding about this particular maintenance. So this is what we can call it as a maintenance. See, maintenance is not about only the maintain the customer team to going to get the feedback and try to go back to roots and you're trying to develop this application. No. Along with that, we have to provide the monitoring as well. See, monitoring is all about how your application work in the production servers. Are we going to face any kind of problems? That everything we have to understand. See, when you go to here, let's, for example, you take the IPL, which is going right now. So if you look at this statistics of the IPI, when the match beginning, you are getting only 2 CR people, right? When the match is going very tough situations, whereas let's take, for example, RCB and CSK, which is happened at Saturday, right? So why? Because it is a qualifiers match. So who is going to win? They'll go to the playoffs. So like CSK has a huge fans base and RCB also it has a huge fans base. Like whenever there is a huge fans base for these two franchises, so definitely some crores of customers are going to hit my application. Have you seen that? And even what is this number they have watching this IPL through the Geo cinemas? This is going to be playing this particular Geo cinemas. So Geo application, which is hosting this particular IPL. So when you go with this Geo Cinemas application, you see that, let's say, for example, around 30 CR people is going to hitting my application. That means every second, every minute, there are some lakhs of customers hitting my application. So whenever there is too much traffic, some lakhs of customers, some lakhs of crores people are going to hitting your application. How you are going to handle my application? How you are going to handle my application? I know one of my friend is working in a Geo and he's there in BTM Bangalore. So I know how much struggle he is facing here. Whenever something it is happening here, is immediately is going to resolving here. When there is so many changes, is there is trying to create CSC pipelines, deploying the production servers. Once match is done, they'll go for the review meeting. They'll try to see about what analytics and how it is happening, what challenge they're facing. They again they try to identify for the next match it is. So it is not easy to maintain the traffic, or it is not easy to maintain your application production servers up always, because if the 1 second you're going to get the once your request, and how your application is going to be handling that much traffic. That is where we have to understanding about why DevOps is going to playing a crucial role in nowadays in the market. So now it is going to be like Indian World Cup from June 1st or June 1st week. So there is also we have to understanding about the statistics. So okay, this is what basically we have to understanding about the what is meant by SDLC. Now, so let's try to understanding about the challenges. Now, when we have divide this, I will divide this total teams into the two teams. One is we have a dev team, development team, I can say. Other one is nothing but ops team it is. Ops team it is nothing but the operations team. See, dev team responsibilities are nothing but they'll go for the analysis, they'll analyze this application, and they go for the design, and they go for the design, and they go for this development phase, and they go for the testing phase. So once we have test this application, now we have to understanding about the how we can able to deploy the application. So testing team responsibility is only for the test the application. Forget about DevOps, forget about servers, everything. Let's say, for example, I have testing team. The testing team is basically, they are going to test the application in my local mission. That means they'll create an environment in my local mission. They're trying to test the application in my local machine. Now this application, they have to test it right now. When the application is going to be tested, so we have to understanding about the how this application is got tested. See, whenever you have tested the application, it is going to be on local machine. So it is working fine for me. I send this application to the operations team. Now the operations team responsibility is what? See, the major responsibilities of operation team is nothing but deployments. They had to deploy the application. They had to set up the infrastructure. Okay. Then they have to maintain all the servers. They go for the monitoring. They go for the monitoring. And also they go for this particular backup. And also they'll taking care of the all the servers which is there inside the production servers. This is what exactly the responsibilities of an operations team. Now let's try to understanding about how we are trying to face the problems and why actually DevOps is the fit for here. Let's say my development team will be having, a testing team will be having. So whenever you have to send the application to the operations team for deploy the application in the production environment, you have done with the testing, it's working fine on your environment where you have tested the application. When the operations team have to deploy the application, they're actually the first they have to set up the infrastructure. See, DevOps is not about the learning the tools. It is all about the you have to understanding from the scratch how you are trying to set up the infrastructure whenever you want to deploy the application. For that, what are the different kind of steps we have to taking care of it? That's where the DevOps engineer's jobs will start. It is not about creating a Git repository, creating a CI/CD pipeline, automating. No, you have to be understanding about the from where your job it is going to be start. So it is basically go to infrastructure first. Now they have to try to repair the application. But the application which is working in my mission, it's not working in my operations team. See, I got one requirement where the US, they want to develop the application. They want to develop the application. The application, it is called as a business application. It is for the US client. So this is the application they want to develop the application for the US mortgage application. So this is I got from the customer where they want to develop the application here and they want to deploy this for the US peoples. Now the customer is selling to me that develop this application first, test on your local machine, then we'll try to migrate it into the cloud. That is what the customer is telling to me. But we are telling that when you test the application on our local machines, it's work fine. But when you're trying to migrate into the cloud, you may face some challenges. So what we'll say, we'll create a CI/CD pipeline. We'll set up the infrastructure on the cloud for the test environment. We'll try to test the application in the cloud cluster. Because whenever I set up the cluster in the cloud, definitely it is going to be charged for my pocket. My client is not ready to take up the charges. So that is the reason whenever you want test the application in local machine, definitely you are going to face some challenges. So that is what we have to understanding about how to overcome the challenges. Now it is not working in my mission. So again, I'm sending back to the development team saying that I have tested the application is not working in my mission. Please check from your side. Testing team, they'll go back again. They'll review the test cases. They'll check each and everything. And they'll come back and they'll say it's working fine. Now, who is the problem here? Who is facing some problem here? Deployment team. Because testing team is not done the testing on the server it is. They're on local mission. That is the reason it's working fine. But when you're trying to run the application, different environments or different platform, it has to work. See, the first problem when you just go to any kind of software industry is nothing but application portability. The very first problem which we are going to face it is nothing but application portability. Application portability. That means the application which is working in my mission, it has to work in all the environments. You take any kind of platform, wherever you want to run the application, it has to run. That is a kind of the flexibility which we had to provide to the applications. Now, the second one is nothing but the resources. See, As a DevOps engineer, we have to think about the how to save the money or how to save the cost for the organizations. That's where they're paying high salaries for the DevOps engineers. So one of my students, he got 3 years experience. He got joined in this. He's previously working with the Infosys, but he joined the Nielsen company in the last month with a 12 lakhs package. So why they hired means they need a DevOps engineers to automate the complete CI/CD pipelines. So now we have to understanding about how we can able to save the cost. But when you go with this resource not properly utilizing when you go with the visualization technique, that's where we come with the containerization technique. Like there are some challenges we are going to face in the industry. And to overcome all the challenges, there is a DevOps came into the market. So DevOps is all about it is a combination of a development plus operation team. It is a methodology. It is a methodology. That is the reason only. If you look at this, they have the mentioned the infinity symbol when you take the DevOps. So why? Because it is never ending process. It is not like a just tool. See, tools may change, but concepts never, it is never ending process. See, you studied about SDLC in the college days, but still you are learning about SDLC, like waterfall model, agile methodology. Why? Because this is going to be never ending process. See, DevOps, why this, when you look at the DevOps symbol or you can look at the icon, it is a infinity symbol because it is a never ending process. It is existing the DevOps. See, every stage of the DevOps, you are going to use some tools. So what actually DevOps is going to solve the problem? DevOps is going to solve the many things. The first one is the communication. So there is a bridge between the, or there is a gap between the dev team and operations team. To fill the gap, we need someone to take the step to talk to them, to resolve the problems. That's where we have a DevOps team. It is going to be sit here. So DevOps is going to focusing on 3 things. One is the communication. Second one is the collaboration. Third one is the automation. These 3 things are going to be executed by the DevOps engineers. We'll see after some time how we can perform the automation. As of now, when you look at this my screen, you can look at here. Every stage of the DevOps, you are going to learn some tools. So I'll explain about how these tools are going to help for you to automate the complete DevOps pipeline it is. So whenever you just go to here, you look at my screen that, see there is a coding team, code, there is where the software development team start to write the code. So whenever you want to share the code with your colleagues or when you want to store the code, we need something, it is called Git repositories. So when you just go to build, we see we need a build tools. It may be Maven, it may be, it depends on the programming language, the build tools are going to be different here. So when you want to perform the Selenium here, testing, we had to go with the Selenium or we had to go with the JUnit. When you want to release application or when you want to perform the deployment, so we need to automate this something, it is called CI/CD pipelines. We need Jenkins, or we can use TeamCity, or we can use CircleCI, or we can use GitHub Actions. There are different tools available in the market. So when you go deployment, basically we'll deploy the application in the containers. So we require Docker. I'll explain about each and every tool. And now if you just go to the infrastructure, we need something, it is called Ansible for this managing your infrastructure, automating the configuration management. So to manage all the containers, we need something, it is called Kubernetes. So Kubernetes is nothing but a cluster management tool where it is going to manage all your containers inside the cluster. To monitor application, we need something, it is called as a Grafana, Prometheus or Nagios, or you want to Datadog, or you want to go this Splunk. See, all these are nothing but which we can call it as a tools. Now let's try to talk about the each and every tool, how it is going to be usable for us, how we are going to design the CI/CD pipelines. Let me explain about the each and every tool, and we'll see about, and also I'll going to show you about one demo application, how we are trying to deploy the application in the Kubernetes cluster. Let me click on the create now. You see that I'm just trying to creating the one pipeline here. Let's see about how we can do it now. Let me first, so we have a software development team. The software development team is basically going to develop the application it is. We have a software development team. The software development team job is to basically they'll write the source code. So you may ask the question, many of you guys have a question. If I want to become a DevOps engineer, it is really to learn the programming languages. See, I know everyone has aware about the what is programming languages and how we are going to implement it. So we have to understanding about what is going to be happening in the front end, what is going to be happening in the back end. That is very, very important where we have to understanding about all these things. See, software development means is a group of people. They're trying to understand requirements and they're trying to understanding a design. They try dealing with the code. That's where our job is going to start as a DevOps in the needs. See, but it is not the very much required to be a learn the programming languages, because to be frank, DevOps engineers never going to be involved in the coding part. SRE engineers, site reliability engineers are going to learn the coding part. This is difference we should know about it. When you want to become a SRE engineer, that time definitely we require the source code, or we can say programming knowledge. If you want to become a DevOps engineer, I can say honestly, we don't require we learn any programming languages, but we should understanding about how the program it is going to work, what is going to be happening in the front end, what is going to be happening in the back end. That knowledge should require to become a DevOps engineer. That we are going to help you out. So this is my software development team. Basically they are going to develop the application. Now, whenever the software development team has developed the application, we have to store the code, right? Because when I say team, it is not a single person. My client is located in the Singapore location. I'm sitting in my Bangalore location. I want to send the code to my client, and also my colleagues would like to access my code, what I implemented. It may have the dependencies. So here, basically, we have something, it is called as a GitHub repository. We can say it is a code repositories. So we have a GitHub repositories, we have a Bitbucket, like we have different repositories, like we have a GitLab. There are different code repositories are there in the market. So we can use any of the code repositories. So let's go with the GitHub is, it is nothing but a code repository. Okay, where we exactly, we are trying to understanding about how the code and where the code is going to be stored. So once we have stored the code in the Git, see, we never store any code in the repositories. We always store the code in the branches. So we have to understanding about the what is branching strategies, because where our job it is going to be start from the branching strategies. How we are trying to creating branches, how we are trying to merge the branches, what are the conflict you are take. When you're trying to creating CSC pipeline, the very most important thing we have to understanding about the how this branching strategies you implemented. See, even when you go for any interview, they'll ask the very first question is all about branching strategies. What you implemented in your project. If you don't answer properly the branching strategies, they'll understanding about you don't have experience in the DevOps platform. So once we have done with this part, then what is the next? So we have the code in my GitHub repository. What I can do with the code? So here we have a tool. It is called it as a SonarKeep server. See, why do you are going to learning about SonarKeep server is nothing but to check the code quality and how the code quality we have to check. That is where we have to understanding about code quality it is. So whenever you want to check the code quality, so we are going to use the SonarKeep server. Why? Humans cannot able to check the code? Yes. Let's say, for example, someone has implemented 50 lines of code, and how we are trying to implement or how we are trying to check the quality of this code. See, whenever I say something it is wrong means, I should know about the rules and regulations. See, for example, you have an umpire in the cricket match. Umpire should know about each and every rule. When someone is going to be called as a wide, someone is going to be called as a no ball, someone it is going to be called as different things, and how they are trying to understanding about it. First, they should experienced and they should have this particular rule set. If they had to know about each and every rule, then only we can say it is nothing but they are clearly understanding about it. So whenever you go with the SonarKeep server, SonarKeep is nothing but a code quality tool. So whenever the software development team has developed the code, we want to check the code quality, whether the software development team is meeting the guidelines of the source code or not. This is provided by the every programming knowledge. So because software development team may take help from the Google, they may take help from the Devin or ChatGPT or any of this particular thing. First, we have to understanding about the how they are trying to implement the code. So whenever the code is available in the code repository, we want to understanding about how we can able to check the code quality. So it is very difficult for us to learn and understanding about each and every rule and try to understanding about each and every source code line. If I said 50 lines, you have to analyze and you have to give me a report. That means we should need a lot of patience. We should be expert in the specific programming knowledge. So that is everything. It is be the biggest task for us. So humans we cannot do that. But DevOps tools can do that. Within the fraction of seconds, you can able to get your report. Like how many vulnerabilities are there, how many security threats we'll be having, how many code smells we are having. Like everything we can able to check when you just go with the SonarQube server. So once it is done, then we have to go something it is called it as a build it is. So build nothing but see the programming knowledge what we have implemented the code, but my computer doesn't understand programming knowledge. I mean it's a computer program. You may write some program, but computer doesn't understanding about the program. So we have to convert the source code into the computer understandable language. For that is the reason only we need something it is called as a build tool to build the application. So like for example, if you just go to the Maven, Maven is a build tool for the only for the .java, I would say for only for the Java applications. So you take the other programmings. Let's say you take the .NET, you take the, for example, Python applications. You take this, let's for example, any of the other programming knowledge. See, for example, I take up the Node.js. So when it go with the Node.js, there we can use something it is called NPM to build applications. So for example, you just take the Python. So we use something it is called pip, it is called as to build the Python applications. You take .NET applications. So when I take .NET applications, we are going to use something it is called MS build here. That means depends on the which programming language you are going to use, that it is going to be different. This is going to be varies. So we are going to learning about NPM in the program, this course. You're going to learning about pip, you're going to learning about MS build. So we'll see how we can Dockerize the .NET applications, how we can deploy into the containers, that we are going to touch each and every programming knowledge. So here, when you just go over to the Maven, now we are trying to create a repository. I would say we are trying to store all these artifacts in a repository. So that is where we have to go with the Nexus. So here, when you go to Maven, when you build the applications, it is going to create something it is called as a .war files. It is a web application archive. So let's go with, for example, when you go to the .jar files, like we have, it is going to generate the different artifacts. See, it is not about a single day learn the application, right? It is every day the software development team has going to develop some features. That features we have to validate it and they have to deploy into the servers. Before you deploy the application in the servers, we have to perform all these stages. Let's say you have the SonarQube to check the code quality. Maven is for the build this applications. And Nexus is what we can call as a code, say repository where we can store all the artifacts. You build any kind of artifact. You may build Docker images. You may build WAR files. You may build jar files. You build any kind of artifact. All the artifacts we can able to store inside the Nexus artifact repository. See, every cloud, it has their own repositories. You take AWS, we have ECR, Elastic Container Registry, where we can store all your Docker images. You take the GCP, we have container registry, we have artifact registry. Like every cloud, it has their own repositories, services where exactly we can able to store all the artifacts. But why we have to go with the Nexus? That we'll be discussing about in the sessions. Now, once we have the artifact, we have to build a Docker image and we have to deploy application in the containers. See, nowadays, you take any kind of organization, guys. All the organization, they're behind the Docker and Kubernetes. Because I have been into this industry from 9+ experience. From last 4 years, I'm into working as a senior DevOps engineer. Also, I'm just trying to go for the corporate trainings. The many of the clients, they requested to deliver the trainings on Docker Kubernetes. Recently, the 1 week back, I delivered the corporate trainings for ClahanTechnologies, which located the Bangalore and Kormangal location, only for Docker and Kubernetes. I delivered for IPX Technologies I deliver for the Oracle 2 batches only for Docker and Kubernetes. I deliver for the Capgemini, Publicis Sapient. See, there are top companies which I trained only for Docker and Kubernetes on DevOps platforms. So we should understanding about how it is going to be understood. So if we want to see such kind of things, you can visit my LinkedIn profile where I used to post whenever I did any trainings, anything I'm just posting the LinkedIn profile it is. So when I just go to the Docker now, see, we have to take the artifact. We have to Dockerize the application. This is where exactly we have to we have to focus. See, learning Docker, it is very important for us because we have to understanding about how we can able to building a Docker images. So whenever I say about the Docker images, is all about the how we are trying to containerize your applications. So once you have container application, then you are trying to deploy this application inside your containers. So when you just go to the containers here, we are trying to run this application inside the containers. We'll talk about why the containers came into the market and why the containers are very popular, everything you'll understanding about it. So when you just go to, and when you're trying to building a Docker images, trying to understanding about what is the containers. See, as of now, try to understand container is like a virtual machine where exactly you're trying to run your application, the microservice application. Now, then why we require a Kubernetes? Because containers doesn't support something it is called as a auto scaling. Auto scaling means whenever the traffic it is going to be very high, I just need to understanding about how to perform this scale up and scale down it is. So auto scaling is not supporting by the containers, load balancing, but the very important feature it is nothing but a self-healing. That means if any of the application is goes down, it is without human intervention, it has to recreate the same kind of application. That is what we can call a replica of the application. How we are trying to achieve it is, no, we can't achieve it. So with the containers, that is the reason only we have to go something it is called as a Kubernetes. See, Kubernetes is nothing but it is a container orchestration. I can say it is nothing but a container management tool. So we have to understanding about the how we are trying to create the containers. So when you go to here, when you try to understanding about what is my Kubernetes, Kubernetes is nothing but a container orchestration, or we can say it is nothing but a container orchestration tools. Let me correct this spelling. Yeah. So when you go with the Kubernetes, it is what we can call KHS. That means whenever you want to deploy the application in the Kubernetes, you take GeoCinemas, you take Hotstar, you take any kind of streaming application which is going to host it, any this particular IPL or ICC World Cup, definitely they will use stack. It is called Kubernetes because when you use Kubernetes, you don't get application downtime. That is where we are going to focus. See, when you develop the application, test the application, doesn't matter. The end of the day, my application has to work properly in the server. You should not get application downtime. So that is what basically we have to understanding about how we can do it. So whenever you want to understanding about application downtime, this so primarily we have to focusing about the how you are trying to do this. That is the reason I need a tool to manage the entire application. So we are trying to understanding about what is microservices, how we are trying to dockerize your microservices, and how we are trying to deploy the application in the Kubernetes. That is where we are trying to focusing more here. So in this, our training, Docker and Kubernetes, we are going to cover in the CK certification level. Nothing but certified Kubernetes administrator syllabus. So we are trying to cover that level. I mean to say that level of knowledge we require to crack any interview. If you learn only cluster creation, you're learning only about deployments, it doesn't work here. So we should understanding some real-time use cases. You should understanding some real case scenarios and how and where, what kind of problems you're going to face. Because if you go to interview, definitely you're going to get 70% of this particular questions. So see guys, I used to give interviews for the corporate trends whenever there is a client comes. I have given an interview for the Wipro last week. Even though it is a corporate training for the experienced people, they interview and there I got 70% of the questions on Docker and Kubernetes. Believe or not. because they want to check whether this guy has really experience in this particular platform or not. So even when you currently handle the project which is on GCP cloud platform, where we have this 292 pods we're deploying in the cluster, we have to understanding about the, like we have 6 worker nodes, 1 master node, and we have 1 infrastructure node we'll be having. So we should understanding about how we are trying to manage all the application it is. That's where we should understanding about how we can able to manage application the Kubernetes cluster. So you are going to screw up when you go to interviews, they'll ask many questions on the Kubernetes. So my request is, if you go anywhere, not only this training, if you're going to join and not going to be joined, that's your wish. But the fact is, you have to focus more on Docker Kubernetes. Without learning knowledge in Docker Kubernetes, hands-on knowledge in Docker Kubernetes, project knowledge in Docker Kubernetes, you can't able to survey anywhere. So that is the reason we specially designed some projects for Docker and Kubernetes, where there is a 12 microservice application you take that will give only source code. The rest of the thing you have to configure by yourself. So you have to write understanding about how to configure, how to write deployment file, how to write load balancers, how to write index controller, how to write the service mesh. That everything you have to do it from the scratch. That level of knowledge we are going to teach. So you're going to work on all microservices, 7 microservices, and you're going to work on these 11 microservices. So this all the open source projects which is going to provide by Google, IBM, and some open source projects which I collected from the Google and we had designed especially for this factor, Docker and Kubernetes. Along with that, we're going to provide the 24 plus projects for your practice purpose, which is implemented by our students. You're trying to, I mean to say, we'll give only source code. You have to write Docker, you have to write the Docker Compose files, you have to write your Kubernetes manifest files, you have to deploy those applications as a Kubernetes cluster. So how many we'll give? 24 plus projects we'll give. One or two will explain, but rest everything you have to do it from your scratch. So while doing, you are going to get so many problems. It's not about the learning, deploying hello world application doesn't work anywhere. So you have to understanding about the how practically you have to work on these applications, what kind of challenges you're going to face. When you deploy 12 micros application, you'll understanding about how the card it is going to work, how it is ad service is going to work, how is payment service is going to work. So everything we should understanding about from the scratch. So when you go to Kubernetes, you see that there is a deployment which we have to do it. So let's, for example, when I go to here, so we should understanding about how we can deploy this application in the Kubernetes cluster. Now, see, once we have deployed the application, we have to understanding about how to monitor this application. Monitoring means, so we have to understanding about how the monitoring it is going to be happening. Yeah, monitoring is very important. So why? Because monitoring is very important because so we have to understanding about the how much resource utilizing my CPU, how much memory utilizing my CPU or a server, and how much traffic is coming towards my application. What is my approach? How I perform the auto scaling? When I do perform the auto scaling, that everything we have to perform it is. For that, monitoring is very important thing it is. Now here we have to understanding about what is meant by the Prometheus, what is meant by Grafana it is. See, Prometheus is nothing but it is a server where exactly you are going to deploy, and we can able to collect the metrics from the where exactly your application is going to working here. So we have to understanding about what is a Prometheus first, and whenever it is going to collect all the metrics now, we have to see in a graphical visualization manner. For that, we need something it is called as a Grafana it is. So we'll be covering Grafana and monitoring as well. So whenever you want to automate the complete cycle, it is whatever we discussed. Automation means the moment when the software development team push the code into my GitHub repository, there is someone to do all these activities without human intervention. That is reason only we need something it is called as automation tools. See, there are different tools are there in the market. You may have the GitHub Actions, you may have Circle CI, you may have TeamCity, you may have Harness, which is coming up right now in the market. There are different tools are there in the market, but those are all paid services. So when you go with the Jenkins is open source. See, many of the organizations, they're using something, it is called a Jenkins. See, when you just go to the LinkedIn here, I'll show you that when you go with the jobs now, you take any kind of job description. So let's say, for example, I'll take this lead consultants, DevOps engineers, or you'll take this any of this. These are all job openings, which is they have posted recently for different organizations. See, for example, when I just go to the DevOps or DevSecOps, we'll talk about differences. I just want to showcase you that what exactly they are requesting for. You see that build and maintain the cloud infrastructure through the IAC. We need to learn Terraform and cloud networking. Everyone, if you want to become a DevOps engineer, everyone has to learn at least one cloud platform. It may be AWS, it may be Azure, it may be any of the one of the cloud platform you should learn it is. But AWS has a good scope in the market. See here, you have to learning about how we can able to create EKS cluster, Elastic Kubernetes services, how we can able to push the images inside the ECS, Elastic Container Services. What is VPC? How we can design your VPC network? How we can able to store data in S3 buckets? Application load balancers, ALB means. LLB means network load balancers. You should understanding about all these things from the scratch. Now we have to see about from the beginning how to create CI/CD pipelines. See monitoring. See whatever we discussed so far, that everything is going to reflecting in the. I'm not talking about any something fishing here. I'm taking this description of the job, which is going to provide Atlantic India. Here, look at their responsibilities and they're looking for this particular experienced people it is. They're primarily looking for the pipeless experience. Look, this is nothing but the services they're looking for this particular each and every tool. And you see that they're looking for the experience in the Unix. They're looking for this experience in the code build everything. And they're expecting us, someone is very proficient and understanding about CI/CD pipelines. They're understanding about how we can able to use Ansible as a configuration management. They're understanding the requirement for the how they have to go for the Docker and Kubernetes. Say, for example, when you go with this any other requirement, let's say Microsoft, you'll take the Microsoft here. If you just look at here, 3 weeks ago, they posted 100 application they submitted. Okay. When you come down, so here, look at this requirements. Like you take this different organization has different requirements, and every requirement you have to find out the what is the common factor, what exactly they're looking for. See, based on this only we design the curriculum it is. Based on that only we design the curriculum, what exactly they're looking for this particular what exactly they're looking for this particular DevOps in the needs. See, I trained in the last year, October, September month, Oracle only for the Docker and Kubernetes. See that they're looking for the Jenkins, they're looking for the Bitbucket and GitLab, they're looking for the Terraform, they're looking for Docker and Kubernetes, they're looking for Azure and AWS, they're looking for Linux environments, they're looking for the CloudWatch, Prometheus, Lake stack, they're looking for the cloud native application monitoring, maintaining, good communication skills. This is what their experience they're hiring for. See, we cross verify whether we are going to covering all the tools and whatever they're requesting us. Yes, we can learn it. So once we done with the monitoring, see when you go to any organization, before you deploy the application, we had to set up the infrastructure. So we have to understanding about how the infrastructure is going to be designed. See, for this, we need something, it is called as a Terraform it is. To automate this infrastructure, I don't want to do it manually because let's say, for example, I got 2 projects. So one project, I already set up the infrastructure. If I want to do the same setup for the second project, so I have to do it from manually again. It may take some time. We have to create first VPC network. We have to design the subnets. We have to design the NAND gateways for the private subnets. We have to create routing tables. We have to create Elastic APIs. On top of it, we have to create the cluster. On top of it, we have to define the load balances, whatever you require. Like you take any kind of info, if you take any kind of architecture, say for example, if you just go to here, when I just show you that CI/CD pipelines, because learning tools, I'm telling you again, it is not sufficient to survey in the market. So we had to understanding about how we can able to design your CI/CD pipeline, how we can design your architectures, everything we have to understanding about. So when I just go to here, including the VPC, sorry, you should understanding about how we can design this kind of pipelines. See, whenever you're trying to learning about any project, it is not about configuring the tools, it's not about how we can do it. So we should understanding about how we can design this kind of infrastructure it is. Let me go to this images. Let me show you that one image sufficient to understanding about, yeah. So when you just go to this image, see it is how we can able to setting up the CI/CD pipelines. So look at my screen. This is how we can understanding about AWS, and it was how to create VPCs, how to create the private subnet, and inside that, how the users are going to access application, how we can define internet gateways, how we can, it is going to be called public internet. So look at here, outside the VPC, what components we have to keep. Inside the VPC, private subnets, what component we have to keep. Like this is kind of level of knowledge we required. Definitely we required to become a DevOps engineers. Now, in this, you are learning about the Terraform to how we can able to write the Terraform file to automate the infrastructure. So primarily, we are going to automate the AWS. You're learning about the how we can able to create the cluster by using Terraform. You learn about how we can able to serve the VPCs, how we can able to create subnets. So everything you are going to learning about this particular Terraform when you go with the IAC. And after that, the very important, the most important tool in the market is called as a Ansible. So Ansible is one of the very important tool, which is what we can call as the configuration management, a tool. So whenever someone should configure your servers, don't want to do it manually, we can do it automatically by using Ansible it is. So this is the kind of infrastructure we have to understanding about. And apart from that, we are going to provide the Python training the end of these course. So once we complete this DevOps training, a Python is a free of cost. We're going to provide to our students only to make them to learn about how the Python is, because some interviews they're asking about the Python. That is the reason we are teaching this Python training as well. So that is what we have to understanding about it. So totally how many tools you are learning about it? You have to learn about the 10 to 11 tools. But looking at it's very difficult here, but by learning it is very easy. So someone feel that difficult to write Jenkins declarative pipelines, Jenkins Groovy pipelines, but I can say it is very easy because we're going to start from the scratch. If we start anything from the scratch, it is very easy to learn about it. So whenever you go to this particular tool chains, see, we have to go with this Maven, we have to go with the Nexus, we have to go to the something it is called Docker. We have to understanding about how we can do it for the Kubernetes, how we can do it from the monitoring. So we have to do it. All these things are nothing but with the help of the DevOps CI/CD tools. We should understanding about how to configure with the Jenkins, how to configure Docker with the Jenkins, how to configure Kubernetes with the Jenkins. That everything you should understanding about from the scratch it is. So I'll take another 5 minutes. I'll show you that how I had designed my infrastructure in the cloud, how we can able to deploy this application in the cloud platform. When I click on the next here, let me enter this. I'm going to showcase everything in the practical, no theory classes in your sessions. Wherever we require theory, we'll be covering about definition, use cases. Apart from that, we are not going to setting up or we are not going to covering anything. So when I just look at my screen, there is a one cluster is available. When I go to the Singapore location, it is AP-South is to Sydney location. So we have done with one cluster setup in this AWS. So you're going to learn Kubernetes also in AWS, not in GCP. If you want to practice also, you can tell you that the free sources, we have cloud platforms where it is going to provide free of cost. See, I have my EKS cluster right now. And also I have one repository in ACR where it is going to be storing in my, you just go to here. I have one repository where it is going to be stored all the artifacts. Now also I have configured the my servers in my AWS. I have some servers. You see that I have some servers like if we go to instances now, I have my Jenkins server is ready now. I have my cluster ready. I have my SonarQube ready to check the code quality. I have my EKS slide. So we have to understanding about how we can able to configure all these server cities. So it is not about the configuring. We should understanding about the how we can able to access your servers. Say for example, when I just go to my Jenkins server, go to public IP address. When I just mention about the public IP address 8080, Now, once you hit the enter, you are able to accessing your server. It is going to ask you about the username password. When I just click on the sign in here, so you have to learn about the how we can able to do the scratch your application. So let's, for example, if I go to my client mission, say I had designed my client server architecture for my Kubernetes cluster. Whenever I want to interact with my cluster, I have to go to this option name. It is called as a go to instances now. Let me go to this particular case client. And here, if we click on the current, I'm just trying to connecting my server. This is I'm not showing from the scratch because it will take time. But actually, when you go to the regular lessons, I'm just going to tell you that how we can write the pipeline script, how we can do it, everything. Let me showcase you. That is my host name. Go to appearance, click on the change here. Let me go with the 40. And here, see, this is, you have to understanding about how we can design the pipeline from the scratch. So I'll show you that how many VPCs which I created, how many NAT gateways which I created. So as per this particular infrastructure requirement, I had done the same setup it is. Now I'm just trying to connecting my cluster it is. Let's go with the sudo su. This is my cluster. So when you look at my screen, when you go to instances now, and also if you go to the something, it is called VPCs in my region, the specific region, it is called as a Sydney region, where we have done with this setup everything. So when I go to here, when I come to the VPCs, now here we can see that we have to perform how we can do it right now. And the VPCs, we can say about the one VPC is available here, which we created for this creating cluster everything. That VPC name is EKS cluster. And if you go to subnets, you see how many subnets we define, public and private subnets. If you go to routing table, there is one routing tables, and you look at for how many subnets got connected here. When you go to internet gateways, you see that. See, everything we had to do it from the scratch. If we go to Elastic API, see how many Elastic APIs got allocating for my project. It is only one Elastic IP address. So like that, we have to design that from the scratch so that you're understanding about how we can do it right now. So let me go to connect my cluster first. When I want to connect the cluster, we have to understanding about what is context. So it is too early to talk about the what is context, but let me connect my cluster from the my case client. Let me go to here, and we have to understanding about how we can do it. Let me go to the updated config here. So let me type the command called AWS EKS. Okay, let me control C here. AWS EKS update hyphen keep config hyphen name, and the cluster name it is called EKS hyphen cluster. And after that, the region we have to specify that. So region, the region name is AB hyphen south east hyphen 2 it is. Okay, now once we hit the enter, see you're trying to connecting your cluster. It is going to updating your context it is. So now we can able to access your nodes. When you go with the get nodes, we can see that there are two nodes available. And you will type the command called keep get ns, there is a namespace is available. So when I go to when I just type the command called keep get pods hyphen n, if we go with the namespace called as a robot shop, we can see that this is the name, this is the pods already running. So when I check the deployments, how I had deployed here. So when I go to here, I check something, it is called a deployments. So when I go to this option, it is called deployments here. When I hit the enter, you look at here, there's the one deployment. In deployment, I deployed two pods. So what I can do now, I type the command called keep delete namespace. The namespace is called as the robot shop it is. I'll show you that how we can do it this option from the beginning. Let me do it now. I'll take another 5 to 10 minutes. After that, I'm just going to wind up. After that, I'll give this what is the mock entry procedure, what is the placement assistance which we're going to provide. I would like to explain that. I'll do it after this project execution it is. It is deleting the namespace, and also along with the namespaces, it's deleting all the resources as well. It is going to be do that. Yes. When you type the command called, I'm just going to create again, capital create the RoboShop. I had did this for the other training batch for the cloud train because I do that. I work for other institutes as well, but I don't have satisfaction. That is the reason I'm just going to framing my own batches. And also, if you type the command called, let's go to here. We have required to Helm also to be installed. Go with the Helm list. Okay. So type the command called Helm, uninstall. That name it is called catalog. It is okay. Now when I go to hit the enter again, you see that it is going to be done everything. Let me connect my uh let me connect my something. It is called as a Jenkins server right now. Go to instances here. I'm not connecting all the servers. The requirement as per this, I connecting my cluster by using a workstation. I'm trying to connecting my Jenkins server right now. Let me go to here. Don't worry about all these things, what I'm doing, because we are going to learn from the scratch. I'll showcase you how we can write the pipelines, everything. When I go to this, let's go to the 14 here. Go to the connection here. I'm just going to mention the 60 seconds. SSH, authorization, credentials. Click on the browse. We have to upload the key pair. Okay. Now first you have to become a root user. After that, type the command called helm list now. There is okay, the Kubernetes is unreachable. Let me go to now. I'm just trying to connect first here, the context. The same command we have to execute over there. You can just look at my screen. It is going to asking about the AWS configure first. I just want to log into my IAM user account. AWS configure. It'll ask you about the key and I should not display that. Let me stop my screen. I'm just going to share that I'm just logging to my IAM user account, which contains some set of permissions to perform all these things. Let me go to the Mohan access keys. I think it is done with the 16th. 16th is, let me go to the services, go to the IAM. It is. Murali is a username. I need a key pair for the Murali. Yeah. Because I'm doing everything on my Jenkins server, I know didn't set up my host machine. Let me do it here. AP hyphen southeast hyphen 2, where I need to perform this. Okay, now I just logged in it is. So let me clear my screen. Okay, now here, go to the update the context now. Now type the command called kubectl, get nodes. Now, yes, let me share my screen and I'll try to do that now. Yeah. See, whenever you would like to do that, see, when you just go to your Jenkins server, we have to write the pipelines first. So when you just go to the catalog here, it is already success the master, the mission, but we should understanding about how we can write the pipelines. So I don't need to explain the now everything. Let me just go to here. This is my GitHub repository where you guys can able to get the different repositories. So I'm just going to show you that some high overview. That's it. So when I go to here, when you run this particular Jenkins file, you can look at my screen that this is the kind of pipeline script we have to write. See, creating manual pipelines, it doesn't give the experience. Applying this declarative pipelines, writing a GUI scripting pipelines is required. It is. So in this course, really, do you require to understanding about the programming knowledge? So here, basically, we are going to teach you that the ML scripting. Okay. So this is ML scripting. You're going to learning because when you go with the Docker and when you just go with the Kubernetes, you are going to learning about how we can do it now. How to write the Kubernetes manifest files, how to write the, let's say, how we can write the Docker Compose files. In Ansible, you are going to understanding about how to write the playbooks by using ML scripting. Also, we can use Python. That is the reason we specifically going to teach you Python for the students. And apart from that, if you go to Jenkins, the Jenkins, you're going to understanding about the how to write the declarative pipelines. Okay. And how we can write the Groovy scripting pipeline. See, there is a difference between Groovy and declarative. Don't get confused and messed up with these two things. I'll tell you that how we can write scripted pipelines, how we can write declarative pipelines. See, once we have done with the codes, what is your approach? How we can do it? See here, those who are freshers, you are freshers, you don't have an experience, and you are having some gap. Let's, for example, you have passed out in 2019, but you want to switch to the IT industry, but you need some experience, right? So for that, for those people, what I can say, we are going to provide the 3 months internships. It should be a offline or it should be a online. If anyone would like to come to the offline, yes, we can do it because we have an office in Bangalore location. They can come and they can able to complete their internships. But if you want to do it in online also, we can do it. We'll provide the certificate. We'll provide the certificate for this internship. That is also, it is going to be useful for you to showcase your experiences. Now, those who are, once we are done with the internships, we are going to refer to the companies, guys. See, we don't do any proxy, but we do provide the 100% genuine referrals. So where we are going to get some, because why? Because I'm talking about, see, we place some students. Without placing, we are not talking about anything. They cracked interviews by themselves. We haven't did any proxy to them. If you just look at my screen, I'm just going to showcase that how many students which we have placed, that everything you are going to, I'll just show you now. Let me go with the diverse batch now. These are the students the which we placed here. We have a student from US and India. You look at here how much they're getting for these two guys, Pavan and Vola. They have recently got placed from the last batch. So they're getting $80 per hour. And he worked with the Infosys, but recently got joined as a Nielsen. And this Sharon is from previous batch. He's working with Infosys and previously he's working as a support engineer. This guy is previously working as a Java developer. Now he's working as a DevOps engineer. This guy is getting nearly per month 9 lakhs, you believe or not, from US, this guy. His name is Vinith. So this is, we are not telling that anything false. Even you can go to it, you can able to check all the LinkedIn profiles, what they're doing. And also there are some feedbacks. Also we posted their feedbacks, how we are training, we train the students. And these are the some of the students, they have cracked the interviews in the entry level jobs immediately. So these two, Ladika Reddy or you can take the Hema, they both are working in TCS in third party payroll. And this guy is working with the Cognizant. This guy is working with the Tech Mahindra. And he got job as a fresher. The Srikanth is working with now Accenture. Now this is what I can say that truly that we play the students and we talk about in front of you guys. Apart from that, there are some people I joined through the consultancies because we used to train for US consultants from the US batches. So now, if you're experienced people, you have already experienced. Once we are done with this training, we're going to conduct the mock interviews sessions. We're not going to take the mock interviews because we'll bring some one of my friends who is already working in this industry. They'll take this mock interviews, and also I'll take the resume preparation classes. How to prepare your CV, how to prepare your CV, and also we are going to tell you that how you can able to crack the interviews. what are the challenges you're going to face, how to overcome the challenges. So because there are no shortcuts to get success, definitely we have to do hard work. We have to get what you want to be. So once we have done with the resume preparation and how to create the interviews, then we'll design profiles in LinkedIn. So because I can honestly tell that most of my clients, most of my clients I'm getting from the LinkedIn. So believe or not, what are the business which I'm doing right now? I'm getting all the business to the LinkedIn. I don't want to show that, but if you just look at my screen, if you go to messages, you see that every business which I got everything from the LinkedIn. Even some of these people are going to approaching for the job openings as well. You see that we have openings for application DevSecOps engineer. Looking for interested, kindly help us. This has happened recently in April month. Like I'm getting too many opportunities, which is from this, but only from the LinkedIn. So we should know about how to do the LinkedIn marketing. We know about how we can able to design the profiles in the LinkedIn. It is that is the reason we should understanding about how we can do it. All these things it is. So learning it is not just a matter. We should understanding about the how to do this all the steps. This is what I'm just talking about. So when I go to my LinkedIn profile, if you just look at my screen, see there are some consultants that are contacting me to and make them understanding about how we can able to or some job opportunities. See, this is job opportunities I got it in the month of April 23. They are looking for these candidates, their checkups. And also if we come to here, these are all the clients. Okay, let me show you that one more opportunities. This is also I got here from this different clients. Yeah, even these guys have some opportunities for the DevOps engineers. See, I'm getting this every opportunity through LinkedIn only. So we should understanding about how we can able to design your LinkedIn profile. So only LinkedIn can able to reach you. No, also we can able to understanding about how we can upload the profiles in a different platforms. It may be Naukri, it may be a wherever you want. So we should understanding about how we can able to design your profiles. Designing profiles is very, very important because you are selling yourself in the market. That see, for example, if you go to market, you would like to purchase the fruits. So what you're looking for, it is the fresh or not, and it is looking bright. So that they may use some chemical, that is a different matter. But we are looking for the fruit quality, right? How it is looks like. So if they're asking you to pay 100 rupees per kg, you should think about it. You should not think about it based on the quality it is. Same way, if someone would like to pick your profile, we should understanding about how we can design your profile. It is very clearly. That's what basically we have to understanding about right now. See, even one of my client, which I recently I would say last Saturday we have done this training for the client. It has been 2 months we have done. See that every client they're going to recommended me to become a as a trainer. See that Murli is an excellent trainer. Recent is really patient to explain all the concept deeply. Really impressed with the him who recommended him as a one of the best trainer I have ever come across. See why? Because we are putting lot of experts efforts to design. It is not about for the namesake. I ask him to write himself. He's written this feedbacks and he has recommended for other people to am a good trainer. See, it is not about the getting the feedbacks. We are primarily focusing about the how we are trying to place the students. That's what the very big motivate is. There are other feedbacks, a lot of feedbacks which I received from the different clients. So when you go to this other option, it is called feedback folder. See, the many of my students they've written this the feedbacks like this. See that your time, efforts, raising your training was good, understood the concepts. Now here, see that many people, when I ask them to write, they'll write so many paragraphs. Apart from that, we have designed some templates we posted in this LinkedIn or somewhere about our feedbacks, everything. You can guys can go to that. Say that this is all about the code structure, how we can design and here. Now it's time for the questions. If you have any questions, thanks for your patience, you guys listening. I can able to unmute yourself. Go one by one. I'll take up all your questions.
हेलो।
Yes.
कितने लोग मैसेज करते जा रहे हैं, स्क्रीन नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है, तो आप मैसेज में नहीं देख रहे हो?
Not talk in Hindi. You should talk about in English. It is a It is a session you have to keep in mind. Yes, anyone have any questions? Or anyone would like to know about more? See, anyone would like to learning about the more about this codes or anything? So I think everybody in the WhatsApp group, even if someone is not in the WhatsApp group, you should want to know about the more details. Guys can contact directly to my number. It is 8558 553 70865. This is my personal number. You can ping me or you can ask any doubts, or else if you want to, if you just wanted to learning about the more, you can able to reach out to the my team also regarding curriculum everything. They will also can able to help you out. This is my team member. Contact number it is 83 and go to the 173. This is my so this is contact number 37496. This is my team member phone number. See, when I come to the fees, the fee we are collecting very less. It is 16K per candidate. Anyone would like to have to discuss about fee details, or you want to need some discount, or you are not able to pay at one shot, you can always reach out to me. Definitely, we encourage the people to help them. We are not going looking for the money minded. So definitely, we are going to help the students. We need to help the students. Definitely, we can do that. This is a complete the details about the program. Now, if we have any questions, you can ask so that we can able to help you about it. Any questions from anyone? There are the new people joined. Navin Kumar,
Are you
Sridhar.
going to help?
Yes, Sridhar.
Are you going to help to clear the certifications like CKA or
Yes.
AWS Associate level?
You are looking for certification clearance. Definitely, we are going to help you. You are going for CKS, are you going for CKA? Are you going for the cloud architect? Or are you going for any associate certifications in the cloud? Definitely, we are going to help you. We'll provide the dumps. We'll provide the questions, or you need any help from the CK certifications. Definitely, I can help you because I used to take the CK certification as well. I know about the pattern, everything.
I have a 7 years gap after my graduation. Uh, how can I uh, uh, show that career gap in interviews? I have
That's
to
where
put experience.
basically we have
I
to
have
think
to,
about it, like how you want to design your profile. You have the previous experience or you have completely gap, then absolutely we don't have any options. We have to approach a consultant and we have to take this, the genuine documentation which they are going to provide the PF along with the PF and UN number. And we have to put that experience and we have to go to the market. Like we have to
uh,
understanding about how we can design the profile first. Like if you are going the 6 years, for example, how many years you have to showcase as a DevOps engineer, how many years you have to showcase as a support engineer. That's we have to design it properly.
uh, are you recommend that consultancy also
Yes,
to
yes.
provide?
We have the contacts. Definitely, we are going to provide the genuine consultants, which is going to provide discount for our students. We use
Can
our,
you
yeah.
can you explain day-to-day activities of a DevOps engineer? He
This
can
is not the right platform to
okay,
explain the day-to-day activities. There is a lot of things you have to learn about it. You will learn
okay,
so many.
okay. I have a confusion. I have to know all the tools. I have to work all the tools in
This is
that
your first
project.
demo session, right? Going
Yeah.
forward, you understanding about it, how to do it, from where you need to start.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Others, anyone have any questions? Aswin or Jeffin, or we can say that the Mansoor, Naveen Kumar. Yes, Visheshwari, do you have any questions for me?
Hi, I have one doubt, like, are you covering all the, like, are you covering Python projects also?
Yes. I'm not going to take the Python projects training. Python is going to taking by the different trainer who is already
No, no,
working
but
in the
I'm
industry.
telling like how to integrate Python projects.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Python
okay.
projects, definitely. That's where I have written the all these when you're trying to building these particular tools. I have clearly telling that it's not only about the Java. Also, we are trying to learn covering about the Node.js. We're covering about the Python. We're covering about .NET. We're covering about Java, so that you'll understanding about how to work with the different projects as a DevOps engineers, how to Dockerize that our projects, how we can deploy into the Kubernetes clusters, that everything you are going to learning from the scratch.
Sir, good morning.
Yes, Mansoor.
But I guess from today there will be live classes.
No, no,
But
no.
you
I think already we sent the message to everyone. The regular sessions
uh
is going to be start from Tuesday.
yes,
I
yes.
think you are from Surendra. You missed it. But from our side, we have already posted all the message to everyone. But Tuesday is our regular sessions. I mean to say from tomorrow we're going to start with the regular sessions.
Okay,
Same timing, 7 a.m. IST to the 8 a.m. IST.
okay.
Yes.
There will be no timing difference, right?
No, 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 no. Our regular classes will start from tomorrow, 7 a.m. IST to 8 a.m. IST. I'm requesting you guys to reach out to our team. If you have any concerns, definitely they are going to help you out. Anyone would like to talk about the curriculum? Anyone would like to talk about the fees? Anyone would like to know more details about the program? Definitely we are going to help you out. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best. I hope you see you all tomorrow session. We'll be providing the link to the only registered candidates. You guys can register today. And if you have any concerns, definitely you can able to talk to our team. Thank you very much, guys. I will contact you very soon. Thank you very much.